Hey guys, me Bobby here, and today I have another creepypasta narration for you. Today, we're going to be narrating a Caillou creepypasta. Caillou says goodbye to Gilbert. So yeah, I wouldn't really say this is much of a creepypasta per se. I'd say it's more of like a feels pasta, but it's still like, it's somewhat creepy. So anyways, this is somewhat popular, so yeah. Anyways, yes, I'm not going to waste too much time, so yeah, sit back and relax as I read to you. Caillou says goodbye to Gilbert. I want to tell you about an episode of Caillou that I saw once. My cat was put down a few years ago, and I want to tell you about an episode of this very infamous kids show that was very similar to what I had experienced. I was in my room playing on my DSi. The year was 2009. My cat was put down the other day, and it was summer vacation, and after summer, I would be in 7th grade. I was so fixated on my DSi, my mum told me it was almost midnight and that I had to go to bed. We only lived in a 2-bedroom house as a result of the Great Recession a year earlier, and my 4-year-old brother had to sleep in my room, and I always used to wear headphones while I was quietly playing. We had to keep the TV on Sprout for some time so he could sleep. He liked Caillou, and I loathed it. During Sprout's Goodnight show, I saw the Caillou intro playing. The title card was different. This was a season 4 episode of Caillou, and he had more maturity than previous seasons. I remember everything, with even my thoughts evolving in my head. The title card read, Caillou says goodbye to Gilbert. There was no picture, there was only words. The screen faded to Caillou's house. The sky was dark and grey. The house was different. It had no front porch. The windows were boarded up. The colour of the house was purple instead of blue. The chimney was also worn down and had no top. I kept watching. I couldn't sleep anyway. Narrator. It was a very depressing day at Caillou's house. I don't want to talk about it. I never seen the narrator this depressed. It cut to Caillou softly crying in the playroom. He never cried in season 4. I did research. Caillou. Gilbert, why do you have to go? We were best friends. I was surprised that this type of show was talking about pets dying. Anyways, Caillou's parents were talking in the kitchen about Gilbert. Mummy, it's sad we have to put him down today. I just didn't want anything to happen to him when we were on vacation to New York. Daddy, you've told me this so many times. I want to scream. What about Caillou? Mummy, well, he'll be sad, but we had to do this anyway. He does have a kidney failure, you know. Daddy, what I hate is that he keeps going up into the bathroom. Mummy, he's lost it, Boris. He can't help it. Daddy, I know, Doris. I'm mostly concentrated on Caillou. I wonder how he's doing. I'll go check on him. Boris walks into the playroom where we see that Caillou is crying and Rosie is playing with her dolls. Daddy walks over to Caillou. Caillou, Daddy, why does Gilbert need to go to sleep? Daddy, he is sick, Caillou. When we go, Grandma will babysit you and Rosie. Caillou, I'm not staying here. Gilbert's my friend. He can't die without me there beside him. I didn't believe it. Caillou was never like this in these episodes. Daddy, do you really want to be there? Caillou, yes. I don't care if I get scared. I love him. Daddy, okay, Caillou, calm down and stop screaming. I hope you know this is too grown up for you. Do you understand? Yes, Daddy. Daddy, okay, let's get in the car. I was speechless. I watched the rest anyway. It showed Grandma going into the house and Caillou, Mummy, Daddy, and Gilbert in the car. Daddy drove. This was silent and boring. After 12 seconds of driving in the car, Caillou had a flashback. It showed Caillou as a 2-year-old with the season 1 animation. He was with Gilbert and Caillou looked happy. Young Caillou, I love you, Gilbert. You're the best. Gilbert, meow. As Caillou pets Gilbert, Gilbert licks Caillou in return for love. The screen fades to white and Caillou, his parents, and Gilbert were in a green room with a white couch. Gilbert has a band around one of his paws as the doctor walked in. It was weird. Doctor, hello guys. I heard that Gilbert had a kidney failure. First, we'll give Gilbert saline. Then, we will give him the medicine that makes him pass away. Caillou, no, he's not dying. Daddy, Caillou, cut it out. I told you that we have to do this. Caillou, I'm not letting him go. Mummy, Caillou, stop it now. Listen to your father. Caillou, okay, let him die. I don't care anyway. I watched in horror as the saline was injected. Doctor, here's the shot that puts him to sleep. The second injection was worse. I was scared about this, cartoon or not. Caillou lost it. He was crying uncontrollably at Gilbert soon to be deaf. The doctor checked him with her stethoscope. Doctor, please don't. That was quick. Mummy, Daddy, and especially Caillou were all crying. Caillou, sobbing heavily. You were my best friend, Gilbert. The screen faded to white, and this wasn't a flashback. Caillou was with Gilbert in a white room, with no walls. The room turned dark. Suddenly, Gilbert faded into nothing. Caillou, Gilbert! Where is he? He's gone. Caillou started to walk in a straight motion. However, this scene looked more like a flash on Newgrounds when compared to the show's regular animation. This went on for a minute with violin music playing in the background. This stopped when Caillou was pale and was almost skeleton thin. Caillou, says raspy and dry. Gilbert. The screen faded to Gilbert on a cloud, sleeping. A soft heavenly voice chuckled. The screen faded to black with Caillou crying in the background. It faded back with Caillou in a hospital. He was pale and looked like he was going to die. Mummy, Caillou, you're too young to die. You're only 7. Caillou was 7 now? Well, it looked like Gilbert died 3 years ago. Daddy, we love you no matter what. Caillou, I know, we'll see Gilbert soon. Rosie, Caillou, I love you. Caillou, Mummy, Caillou? Caillou, yes, Mum. Mummy, you were adopted. Caillou, what, Mum? Mummy, adopted. Daddy, we adopted you from an orphanage. You were a baby born with cancer. We couldn't bear to see you suffer without parents, so we adopted you. Caillou, thank you. Caillou closed his eyes and stopped breathing. Mummy, Daddy, and Rosie were all crying extremely hard. I actually felt sorry for him. The episode ended with a shot of them crying. The credits rolled silently, and they weren't that fun to watch either. It was just white text and Comic Sans rolling on a black background. I only recognized the names of half the people in the credits, the other half of people that I had never heard of. The copyright date was 2005. The year that season 4 came out. The screen turned to static. I watched the static until it stopped after 4 minutes. The regular schedule came on after the episode. The next day, I woke up and heard my brother had strep throat. My dad had to stay home from work that day. I spent the day, with my dad's permission, to go on the computer and contact Sprout about it. Remember that it was 2009, so I contacted PBS Kids and PBS as well. NB Universal bought Sprout in 2013. All three didn't know what I was talking about, sadly. I gave up and returned to my normal summer routine. I'm still scared of that Caillou episode, but not as much as before. I did some research on Caillou as well, but now I don't because I gave up. Well, that about sums it up. If you've ever seen this episode before, let me know. Okay, so I guess that was rather interesting and rather odd at the same time. Okay, by odd, I don't mean odd as in like a bad kind of odd, but you know, like some parts of it were kind of strange, and I'll get to that, you know, a bit later on in this review. Okay, kind of unrelated, but I could have sworn like back in the day, I remember this story being like so much longer, I guess. I don't really know, I mean, some other narrations about like Eternal Ferret I saw, like, was like 10 minutes, then again, like, I think Eternal Ferret also like reviewed it, so, yeah, but I don't know if it was that long, but anyways, I'm yapping, so it's time to get to the actual review, shall we now? So I'm going to talk about the actual episode. The actual episode was pretty decent for the most part. Like, it was kind of more of a feels pasta. Now, of course, it was still kind of creepy in some senses, but like more feels pasta because, you know, like Caillou's, you know, Cat, Gilbert, like, you know, having to get put down at the vet, which of course, but of course, a lot of people who experience a pet getting put down at the vet is, of course, extremely sad. Like, I don't know anyone who's ever not been sad at their pet getting put down at the vet. Like, you know, I remember like a few years ago, one of my own experiences, like my guinea pig, you know, got put down. It was pretty sad for me, but of course, I was like, I believe in 2020, yeah, basically around like 3 or 4 years ago, and I've kind of gotten over it now. So, yeah, but anyways, that's a bit unrelated to this view. So, yeah, the episode was somewhat decent, and also something I find like, you know, kind of interesting. Okay, maybe not interesting, but like after Gilbert died, like there was like a 3-year time skip of Caillou actually dying. So, yeah, okay, I get what I'm saying is probably not really making the most sense if I'm being honest here, but still, I guess you could say the story was technically Caillou says goodbye to Gilbert and himself. Okay, I'm actually wasting time, and let's move on. Now, I'm about to say next isn't really a true proper negative I have, but it's something which is kind of like sometimes annoys me. Is how like the whole cliche of the things were different. Okay, that sounded weird, but like for example, the house being a different color. I think it was purple, and I boarded it up. I don't know, yeah, sure, I just read the story, but yeah, so it's just stuff like that kind of gets my nerves in creepypastas. Like, of course, it wasn't as bad as, like, weird intros, but, it's just something, like, I feel I need to, like, point out, again, it's not, like, a true negative, this story sucks because of it, but, it's just something I thought I'd point out. And also, like, now, the way of actually finding the episode, something I like to point out these stories, of course, the narrator, he finding it was, I'm assuming it's a he, on, like, airing late at night, like, or midnight on his TV, so, yeah, now, like, of course, that's kind of cliched, but I guess it's not really that bad, because it's something that a lot of pastors do. However, something which is honestly kind of cliche, it's honestly kind of a big cliche in these stories, is that the next day, he goes on his computer, contacts Sprout, I think, yeah, PBS Kids and PBS about the episode, but of course, all three having no idea what he's talking about, which is a pretty big cliche, if you ask me, like, what most of these stories tend to do, I mean, I guess it's not really a big deal. I mean, again, like I talked about in my review of The Grieving, like, TV hijackings aren't really anything new, but, like, you think, if it was actually a hijacker who aired this episode, like, surely they would have known, right? Well, or maybe, I mean, this is a theory that I do have quite a bit of, like, creepypastas, like, there's a chance that the protagonist could have been, like, really tired and, like, just hallucinated the episode. That could have honestly been, maybe an interesting theory, but, yeah. Anyway, just if you're getting too long now, so my final thoughts on the story. It was honestly pretty good. It was brought down by a few minor cliches, but overall, it's still a pretty good and consistent story. So, yeah, overall, yeah, my rating on the story would have to be an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty decent pasta, not nothing like amazing, nothing absolutely groundbreaking, but still somewhat decent. So, don't forget to video, like, subscribe, turn on notifications for the next video. Comment chicken if you made it this far, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.